The jets are always on high alert. Russian planes above, ships and submarines below. The Arctic Circle is teeming with vessels sent by Moscow. Aggression in the high north rising in lockstep with their frustrations as the invasion of Ukraine stalls and the number of casualties mount.
I am under no illusion of the nature of the threat that we face from Russia.
Is it as significant as NATO warns?
It absolutely is. We should be clear-eyed about the fact that the threat from Russia exists in every domain. Under the water, on the land, in the sky, in space, and in cyberspace as well.
To underline the reality of that threat, deep in the belly of the HMS Prince of Wales aircraft carrier, the Defence Secretary receives a briefing on the jet scrambled 72 hours earlier to intercept a Russian surveillance plane. The Russian Bear F aircraft passing the carrier group at low altitude and unnecessarily close, and dropping what's believed to be 10 sonar surveillance devices into the Norwegian Sea.
The first time. For UK defence, there is immense pride, but for the rest of NATO, there is still that nagging question. Is the UK spending enough on defence?
It's not just the size, but speed of spending the US wants to see rise. Donald Trump and his Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, have repeatedly used NATO summits as opportunities for addressing down.
We haven't heard a concrete timetable of when we're going to get to 3% of GDP being spent on defence, which is what the US want. Are you heading into this week, again, expecting an ear bashing from Donald Trump, from Pete Hegseth?
Well, firstly, let's be clear about the fact that some of what the Americans have said in recent times is absolutely right. Europe does need to step up. We do need to do more. And I want to make sure that the UK is playing a leading role in terms of doing that. And I think that we are. We must honour the commitments that we've made to our NATO allies. That's why we will be spending 3.5% of GDP on defence by 2035. And in the context of the next spending review, which will take place in 2027, we'll need to be able to chart a clear trajectory to that.
For now, though, the commitment is an extra £15 billion for defence, of which £4.7 billion is unfunded and will have to be found by the new Prime Minister, almost certain to be Andy Burnham.
I have not a shadow of doubt that he will make sure as Prime Minister that we've got the resources we need to keep the country safe.
You say that you're clear that Andy Burnham will find the money. Is that because Andy Burnham's been on the phone to you and said, this defence investment plan, I'm on board with it?
It's because Andy Burnham, as a Labour Prime Minister, will understand the importance of defending our nation and will make sure that we've got the resources to do that.
Has Andy Burnham been in touch with you since the defence investment plan?
Yeah. So there's been a number of conversations with Andy and his team about the transition of power to him being Prime Minister in the next couple of weeks.
Does that include a conversation between you, Dan Jarvis, the Defence Secretary, and Andy Burnham, the man who's going to be the next Prime Minister most likely?
You'll understand that I'm not going to get into the specifics of private conversations, but I've
you
known
can say
Andy
whether
Burnham.
or not a conversation has happened.
So I've known Andy Burnham for a very long time. He will make sure as Prime Minister that we've got the resources that we need.
I know, and a lot of people will listen to this and think, wait a minute, Andy Burnham in the last week has met with MPs, he's met with union bosses. It doesn't sound like he's met with you or spoken to you directly about the defence investment plan and the safety of our nation. That's a concern, isn't it?
I'm not going to get into the business of personal conversation. I've known and worked with Andy Burnham for a very long time. He will be a very strong Labour Prime Minister and he will make sure that we have the defences to keep the country safe. I have no doubt about that.
Just to be clear, a lot of people will draw the conclusion after this that Andy Burnham has not been on the phone to you, has not met with you personally about the defence investment plan since it was announced.
The conclusion that I would draw from this is that as a Labour Prime Minister, Andy Burnham cares deeply about the defence of our nation and will make sure that we've got the resources in place to keep the country safe.
He won't say whether they've spoken. He can't say whether he'll still be in post in 2 weeks' time. The only certainties here in the Arctic, continued readiness and the lingering threat of Russian aggression.